Hello and welcome to a new video. And before you say, whoa, Tello uploaded a new video? Yes, I know, I have been gone for a while. But hey, the reason is because I got a new job, which means my time is more limited than before. But yeah, I'll try and be as consistent as I can because I really do miss you guys a lot. But anyway, here we have a new event on the way, which is Preluding Lights. This event will have a new banner with 3 new operators, Carnelian. Excuse me if I pronounce it wrong because I already know that I am going to pronounce this name wrong multiple times. And Kirara and Indigo. So it's either Kirara or Kirara. I always get them mixed up because of FGO. Also, something you have all been waiting for, and I know that you guys are so excited for this. A rate up for Cliffheart. So good luck if you're pulling for her. Also, before I start, let me know what you think about the layout changes on the spotlight. I decided to change up a bit so it's not so busy and crowded, so it's a lot more easier to read. And I'm also going to try and make the segments a lot shorter so it's like easier to watch pretty much. So yeah, let me know in the comments. And apparently this event will be dropping on the 9th, by the way, just thought I'd let you know. So onto our new 6-star operator, Carnelian. So Carnelian is our new 6-star model caster, and oh boy, she looks too cool. Like, honestly, I don't give a fuck about her skills, I don't care about her gimmick, because, like, damn, like, excuse me, like. So, as usual with a model caster, she can only attack during her active skill, and when not attacking, she has greatly increased defense and resistance. Now, before I get into her talents, let me share with you what a charge skill is, since this is the first operator with skill charges. So basically, charge skill can continue recovering SP after reaching the SP limit. Once the SP reaches the limit once again, so double the limit, the operator will enter a charge state. And once you have a charge skill, the skill will have additional effects. You can tell the skill is charged because of the little icon at the top turns red above their little model. Now onto her talent, Meal of Life. This skill is pretty interesting. It's a pretty cool survivability skill actually, as it recovers a chunk of HP after activating a skill. And when it's a charge skill, the effect is doubled. So this plays really well with the model caster gimmick due to them mainly being like damage sponges for range attacks. And her second talent increases her SP recovery speed when the SP is above limit, so as again when charging a skill past the limit. Alright, let's look onto those skills. So Sandstorm Guardian is a very simple skill that increases her attack and defense. The charge effect will allow her trait to remain active during the skill. So you'd want to use the skill if you prioritize her as a range tank, due to it being able to keep her trait in charge state, especially when considering the bonus defense buff. It'd make her quite a range tank, you know, like she would be hella tanky. And next we have Sand Fetters, and dude, these names are reminding me of Gara, straight up. So this skill highly reduces attack intervals and inflicts slow on the enemy's hit. Now her charge effect will increase her attack, and instead of slowing the enemy, she will now bind them. So you might not think much of this skill, but it's actually a really solid crowd control skill due to it being AoE, especially considering the uptime as well. Though that's kind of like expected due to the SP cost of a charge skill. And finally we have a S3 Mark of Gluttony. This skill increases her attack range and gradually increases her attack by a lot, like literally it's 200% at skill 7 by the way. The charge effect allows enemies to take increased damage from Carnelian up to 5 stacks, lasting until the skill ends. Now don't get me wrong, this skill is a powerhouse, especially taking that 200% damage increase into consideration and the increased damage from the charge effect. But the fact that her damage takes time to ramp up can be kind of a downside. Other than that, this skill can be like hella devastating if used in the right situation. So overall, Carnelian is just a really interesting operator which has many roles actually. Her S1 turns into more of a range tank, S2 focuses on crowd control, and her S3 is just a complete nuke to be honest. But sometimes you have to compare them to other operators when it comes to effectiveness, like outside of her charge skills there's not much to really offer. Other operators can easily replace her and still be easier to use without having to deal with charge skills. I also want to mention the risk of using her S2 and S3. If you are using her as a damage sponge, be prepared to support her because you will be stripping her defensive buffs away from her. Though she is a very interesting operator with a wider range of uses, who can even heal herself before she unleashes her storm, and if you're looking for a model caster who can perform some serious DPS, then look no further. And now we have a new 5-star Stalker Specialist, Kirara. Yes, Kirara, not Kiara. I also mistook her name for the horny nun as well, like I keep making that mistake over and over again. So now you might be thinking, she must be like a Manticore or Ethan. But you are very wrong. She actually specializes in AoE arts damage and survivability. No crowd control to be seen. Now this does have its drawbacks, but I'll get back into that later. As usual, her trait deals damage to all enemies in range, with a chance to dodge physical and arts attacks, while also being less likely to be targeted by enemies. Now her talent, Loathsome Protector, recovers HP every second, and if there's no allies within the 8 surrounding tiles, that recovery is increased. So this gives her ability to solo in some areas, especially taking her dodge chance and low focus into consideration. So with her S1, Anchor Strike, it increases her next attack's arts damage, and yeah, that's it. Pretty self-explanatory. This skill also has a very short SP cost, so it's a pretty nice consistent AoE art skill as long as you can keep hitting the enemy. And now we have a S2, Anchor Point Snap. This increases her talent effect multiplier and deals arts damage every second to enemies in range. So pretty much more healing and consistent damage over time. That's pretty much it. So overall, Kirara is very solo orientated in my opinion, since her kit gives her that bonus survivability. Pair that with her trait, she can actually put up some like decent solo potential in my opinion, especially when melee enemies cannot attack her due to the 0 block. But honestly, like, Kirara doesn't offer too much to your squad besides arts damage, especially due to the fact that she has no crowd control at all, which means she can't really keep enemies in her range to continue to hit them, especially with her S2. Like, you need to keep enemies in her range to keep that damage over time up and running. Also, can we just like not talk about her S2 uptime versus SP cost, because it's actually like just kind of bad in my opinion. And finally we have Indigo. Indigo is our new 4-star charge caster, so if you're missing Iris and you really want to use a charge caster, Indigo's here for everyone since she's a 4-star. As usual with charge casters, when she's not attacking, she stores up attacking energy up to 3 times and can fire it off in a burst. And next we have a talent, Gentle Binding Glaze. Or sorry, Gaze, not Glaze. This talent allows Indigo to gain a chance to bind when attacking enemies, although she won't target the enemies who are bound. Now you might be thinking, this skill is so useless, she can't even attack bound enemies, what's the point? But this skill allows her to build charges while they're bound, so then you can fire them off with like a lot of damage, so it actually synergizes really well. Though it does kinda suck when there's multiple enemies on the field, I'm not gonna lie about that. Onto her S1, Lighthouse Guardian. This skill changes her attack range to a straight line, just like Ifrit or Short's S3. It also greatly reduces her attack intervals, and her attacks deal 40% arts damage. So this really helps you to land those RNG binds easier and fully charge her skill a lot faster, especially due to the reduced attack interval. Next we have her S2, Labyrinth of Light. This skill allows Indigo to reduce her attack interval while also increasing her talent activation chance. Also, bound enemies within attack range receives arts damage every 0.5 seconds. So again, this skill allows Indigo to attack with a charge attack way more consistently, especially due to the increased talent chance. But the real good thing is that while charging, enemies will be taking damage if they're in Indigo's range and binded. So overall, Indigo has her gimmicks and strats, but I just kind of feel like she's more of a party operator compared to using her for her abilities and such, especially having to rely on RNG for the bind. Even though she has some of the best attack stats in Arknights, her damage is still kinda low due to her gimmicks and the unpredictable stuns. Though if you really love the charge attack gimmick or charge caster gimmick, she can do decently well, although she can honestly, she can just easily be replaced by other operators that are easier to use and set up, like for example Click. So all in all, should you roll? In my opinion, no. Mainly due to the fact that Summer Chen is very close to being released, unless Yostar does their weird fiesta of changing their schedule. All the operators here are very usable and pretty decent in their roles, but at the same time they are very replaceable in my opinion. Like if you have a lot of casters like Effie, or you don't have many operators that provide CC, you will most likely benefit from this banner the most, more than others. This banner is also very gimmick orientated, with having a model caster, charge caster and a stalker specialist all in one banner, which means the uses of all these operators are kinda situational. So I can only recommend doing the guaranteed temple for maybe Kirara or Cliffheart if you want, and Indigo of course, 4-star. Although if you do love model casters like Beeswax, then it might be worth picking up Carnelian, since she's quite strong in a given role. And of course, if you want a badass woman in your squad, then just look no further, honestly. So comment below and tell me if you're gonna pull on this banner, and throw a like if you enjoyed this video. So yes, thanks for watching and good luck.